terrible person who's done horrific things to women and girls, and this is going to continue to come out. Our investigation on the Oversight Committee, I mean, just about a month ago, put out flight logs and would appear to be possible payments uh, uh, to Epstein and Maxwell through Prince Andrew. And the idea now that he is stepping down as more explosive information is to come out in the weeks ahead is the right decision. And I think that he is someone that is involved in horrific sexual violence. And look, this is a good day for justice for the survivors. And we're going to continue to put information out. And I think more information about Prince Andrew, I think will be coming out in the weeks ahead.
Well, if it's serious enough that what still remains to be uncovered, still remains to be released, is bad enough to get him to step down and relinquish his royal title, wouldn't that be even more incentive for Mike Johnson to recognize that what is contained within the Epstein files is actually pretty serious enough to scare Prince Andrew? And so maybe instead of burying it, maybe instead of making himself part of this cover-up, he should actually be helping get some accountability, get some transparency on this issue?
That's absolutely right. I mean, this is a moment where Mike Johnson can do the right thing. And the hypocrisy, he sat just right next to me. We were listening to the survivors when they were in DC. And these women were looking and talking to the speaker and asking him for transparency and for justice. And look what he's doing right now.
Well, what did he say to them when they were appealing directly to Mike Johnson?
I mean, look, he talked about his own faith and how horrible it was, what had happened to them. But clearly, he's not taking action on his words.
I mean, like he presents himself, and that's the thing, like he presents himself as this pious guy. He leads with his religion. He predicates his whole identity on his Christianity. And even in this situation that you're describing, he talked about how this is, the links here between what's happened and how it makes him think about his own religion. But then why use that as a shield and not actually do anything about it?
I think that's exactly right. He is a huge hypocrite here for leaning into his faith, leaning into support for these women, and yet playing cover up and being a part of this massive cover up around Jeffrey Epstein for Donald Trump and for God knows who else. Because we know at the end of the day that there are very powerful men, very wealthy men in this country who right now are walking free, who have not been convicted or have any type of justice or accountability for what they've done. And our job on the Oversight Committee is to get to the truth, but also to show women and girls across this country that if you commit these horrific crimes and acts, that you are going to be held accountable. Just because you are a powerful man, you don't get to just walk away. And we don't care, again, if you are a Democrat or a Republican or who is in these files. We're going to expose every single person.
What is the long-term play for Mike Johnson? Because he's clearly not going to be able to keep Representative-elect Grijalva out of Congress forever. There's going to come a point where, whether it's days from now, weeks from now, or months from now, and I wouldn't put it past Mike Johnson to make it months from now, but there's going to come a point where she's going to get into Congress, and she will be that 218th vote. And so is this just a play for Mike Johnson where every individual day, if he can just get through a 24-hour period where Grijalva doesn't sign on to this discharge petition, that's a win in his book? Is there no long-term thinking whatsoever? It's just, okay, let's get to tomorrow, and that's it?
Look, I think they're going to try to delay the release of the files, and they're going to try to stop our investigation every single chance they can. Yeah. And, they're going to lie. They're going to try to throw out misinformation. They're going to try to trick the public. And so it's our job to cut through that and to just carry on every single day until we get the full truth and a full release of the files. That is what we are doing. That's what if Mike Johnson thinks we're going to stop or he's going to somehow tire us out, he's crazy, because we're not. We're going to stay on this. And I think it's important for us on the Oversight Committee to continue and press on every single day until we have justice for these women.
Switching gears here, there's been some concern, some rumblings that Donald Trump is going to look at No King's Day or other cities where he's deployed the military and use any violence that, by the way, he is trying his level best to gin up as some pretext to be able to take some severe action, like invoke the Insurrection Act, for example. Do you have any worry that he'll try to do that?
I'm always worried with Donald Trump. He's illegally deploying National Guard and military into our cities without any request from governors or mayors. He's causing more problems by going into many of these cities and actually solving anything. And we know, like in places like Portland and others, where there is enormous amount of peace